Debbie.
Yeah, we're having snowmageddon.
Yeah. Hey, Mindy.
It's Kansas. They say if you don't like the weather in Kansas, wait an hour because it will change.
Yeah. Hey, Cindy.
Yeah.
Well, we got a great show for you tonight. I don't know if you guys know what month is it, Joan?
It is National Embroidery Month. Yeah. How fun is that? It's one of my favorite things to do. So, love to share it with you. We've made embroidery quilts. I've got a lot of show and tell, and we've got a couple of incredible machine specials. Let's do our introduction. So, we are Quilters HQ, Windmill Sewing Center, and Sewing Machines Express. And the websites are quiltershq.com, windmillsewingcenter.com, and QHQ2.com. Okay, so we are doing a sew along, and I did some homework, some of my blocks that I finished, so I'll flip through them. I don't have all of them that we've done here. I've got one I sewed together a little bit wrong, so I have to unsew, which is not my favorite thing.
Got out your seam ripper?
I know. It's a bad word. Happens to all of us, right?
It's a bad four-letter word.
I know.
Ripper is a lot more. Hey.
But that one, which one is this?
Flying geese?
Flying geese. I finished this last night. So pretty. The blocks look so much different than the fabric when they're sewn together. Bow ties. It's classic block. And then just a little flower. And square and a square. And tonight we are doing, I don't know, this is the O's portion of X's and O's. So here's the pattern. And it is on the website. So we're using, this sent us in a little rabbit hole today, the trapezoid. And we were talking about, I thought it was called a zoid, but it was actually the noid.
That they'll probably remember.
Don't get the noid. Who was it was a pizza place. Domino's? Yeah, the little noid. But I thought it was called a zoid because, trapezoid is such a fun word to say. So, a little bit different cutting for this. And so, I'm going to show you how to do that. And then we're using die number 5 from the 8-inch cube. These are both from the 8-inch cube. And so, let's get started. So, we need 32 half square triangles. So, let's go ahead and cut these out. And in your kit, you'll have 11 inches, and I just went ahead and cut them in half. Gonna lay these out like so.
Hey, Karen, how are you tonight? Judy said on the boho bags, they learned how to use the rolled hem foot.
The rolled hem foot.
On the boho bags. I think she had a typo there.
Is it boho?
Maybe it's a boho bag. I don't know. Is it a boho bag?
Well, it doesn't have anything on here, so.
Okay.
Uh-oh. I didn't grab my mat.
You want a mat?
I need a mat.
Are they back there?
They might be back there. So while he's grabbing me a mat, on your colored fabrics, you're going to cut those into 6-inch squares. That one. And then I'm going to show you how to cut this shape out. So you're going to get 2 from each piece. So let's go ahead and cut these. Thank you, Robert. There's 12. I love this system. I was playing with the 4-inch cube last night. And I'll bring in and show you when I get closer to being finished what I was doing. But I was having a lot of fun. That one goes together so amazing. You're working with these little tiny pieces, but they just sew together perfectly. 24.
Hi, Cecilia. How are you? Welcome to the show. Hi, Teresa. How are you tonight? Hi, Kathy. You're not late. You're never late.
And we got a new color of the month.
You do. Airfill Club.
Yeah. And 36. This will make 36. We only need 32, so. But I'm already cutting half square triangles, and you use them everywhere in quilting, and this is a really good neutral color. So just get yourself a little plastic baggie and put your extra pieces in that and save them for when you need them. Okay, so this one, you're going to take your square that you cut into 6-inch squares, and you're going to fold it in half, corner to corner. And then you're going to place it over your die with the long side of your fold towards the long side of the shape. And that's how you're going to get 2 of these. So I'm going to stack up 3 so that I can do my 6 layers. Fold in half, corner to corner. And then I'm going to take my fold and I'm going to kind of line it up with the edge here and then just slide it up enough to cover that. So I should have checked. Yep. Make sure that you are on the straight grain. So give your fabric a little stretch. Cover it and send it through. There's your waist, and there's 6 of our 8 pieces. And I'm just checking my grain to make sure I'm going the same direction with all of them. That way.
Hi, Lana.
Corner to corner. And again, I'm going to cover up just enough of that fold. This is a great shape to work with. You can add a lot of interest to your quilts. So we need 8 of each color. And so we're getting 2 from each piece, so you should have 4 pieces of each. And then I'm going to stack the last of them together to cut those. Did everybody catch that? How to cut this shape? Give us a thumbs up if you got it.
Smash up the like button.
And be sure and like and share and follow and thumbs up and all of the stuff with the buttons.
You had a question. Ruth was asking, are you worried about the red print going the right direction?
You know, I don't. And if you look at my blocks, let's see if we can find one that has the red on it. Yep, so if you want to do a close-up of that block, it's not that noticeable. So
yeah,
this is a directional print because it's got these little, I don't know, they kind of look like beehives, little beehives. And so some of them are pointing this way, some of them are pointing this way. But from a distance, you can't tell. So if you can't see it from, so if you're looking through the camera, this is about 4 feet. If you can't tell from here, it's not worth trying to make them all go the same direction. Some directional prints, yeah, stripes, you kind of want to make sure that they're going the same direction, or not, depending. You could add interest to your quilt. Is everybody thumbing up for the...
They did give the thumbs up. Several give the thumbs up. Beverly, Peggy, Debbie.
Yeah. So it's just not a shape that we use often in quilting, but it's a lot of fun. It's a really great... And then these are going to be mixed up. And we'll sew the blue one together. But I can't wait to show you what I'm doing with the 4-inch cube. I showed Robert, he knows, but I can't tell you.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Okay, one more, and then we're finished cutting. And then we can talk about this machine.
We do have a giveaway tonight.
We do.
You just need to comment to get entered to win.
Last pieces. Okay. And then save these for your serger blocks. Crazy quilts. So dig those sergers out and make your crazy blocks from all of these little leftover scraps. A lot of fun. We did a video on these. It's online. You should be able to find it in one of our live sessions.
Hey Jennifer, welcome.
So we're going to sew one of these shapes together. I'm going to sew the blue one. And so let's lay it out a little bit.
John, do we have any of the, someone was asking if we had the cutting gloves. Rotary cutting.
We don't. So this is why we lay these out. This is one you could get mixed
Leslie,
up
how are you tonight?
pretty easily. So you're building this kind of square on point shape.
Yeah, it looks like a little house. That looks like a house with a roof.
We got Robert's commentary.
Yeah, I know. Hey Donna, how are you? Hi Cheyenne.
And then you have your half square triangles on the outside and the inside. And today I'm sewing on the 770. This is a Elna 770. And it's on sale this month.
It's on one of the sheets somewhere.
So,
I think it's buried under the boho bag.
just like that. So one whole segment.
Oh,
So
thank you, Diana. Welcome to the show.
this machine is normally $39.99. It is on sale for $27.99. 350 built-in stitches, 1 push needle plate remover, AccuFeed upper feed system, so that's a cool system. Automatic thread tension control and presser foot adjustment. So if you're in my club, in my AccuQuilt club, I think every single time I harp on presser foot pressure. I'll be like, oh, Joan's going to talk about presser foot pressure again. Pretty much every time. So somebody can verify that for me. And it's important because if you've ever sewn 2 lengths of fabric together and one ends up longer than the other, but you cut them the same time, that same size, that's your presser foot pressure. So you can come in and see us about this machine, and then we have another machine that we showed you last week, and it's on sale for National Embroidery Month. Make sure 1.8. So so there's 2 modes in this. So you can either automatically lock your stitches or just sew, but it's set up for a 1/4 inch seam right now. So I'm just gonna let it rip.
Is that bad Joel or good Joel?
Oh, it's good, Joel. I don't think he gets the reference though. It's a Deadpool reference.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll go watch it.
It's funny. And I'm also using, this is a Singer attachment.
Hi, Carol. Hi, Virginia. Oh, welcome. Missed you.
It's a Singer attachment. It's the seam guide. And it's this little thing that bolts into the plate. And I've got my position, I've got my straight stitch plate on the machine.
Hey, Debbie.
So these little corners won't sink down into the bed of the machine when I sew them. I hate it when that happens and you gotta dig it out and cut a new piece because you always mess up the corner.
How's Washington treating you?
So the other cool thing that this machine does is it will memorize how far you sewed. And why do we care about that? So if you're making a grandmother's flower garden and you're sewing hexies, you have inset seams or Y seams. And so with a grandmother's flower garden or a hexie, you're going to mark your stop point on your first piece and line it up with there's a line on the plate that you can line it up that shows the angle, the degree in degrees. And so you can tell this machine, because it's popping up and asking me, is my piece the same size or a different size? I don't have to answer it, I can just keep sewing. So if you're sewing hexies by machine together, you mark your stop point, you stop at that point, and then when you line up your hexie on that line that's on your plate, the machine will only sew that many stitches. So you don't have to mark every single hexie when you're sewing.
How cool is that?
It's a very cool feature.
Well, Virginia's been kayaking, so I like kayaking.
Where is she kayaking?
I think she thought she was up in Washington.
Yeah, okay. They're kind of more rainforest, so they're a little warmer than we are here. I have been living up to my New Year's resolution to sew more.
She has been. She's been sewing every night.
Yeah. And look, I'm sewing tonight too.
That was a little teaser, Donna, so we'll show that here in a little bit.
What are we teasing?
What was in front of the machine.
Oh. The Lana Kitty?
Or the purse parrot.
Oh. Yeah, that's a new thing I ordered. I just thought they were fun and thought you would enjoy them, because I do. And I'm just going to hit these with the iron and press this towards the, I'm actually going to alternate these, I think. So I'm going to press 2 towards on the outside. So the light blue is going to be on the outside, so this seam doesn't matter. So I'm going to press all of these towards the outside.
Well, I think that's the fun part, right? You get to sew all day, don't get anything else done, just some sewing.
What else is there to do? And then these other ones, so, you know, these are all going to go together like this. So you want to press 2 of them with your seams towards the point, and you want to press 2 of them with the seam towards the darker fabric. So we can nest these when we sew them together. Like that. And so when we go to sew these, like this, those seams, because we're going to sew just right down this corner,
Hey Miranda, how are you?
those seams will just be nested. Okay? But before we do that, we're going to sew the corner pieces on. So let's pair these up, because these are going to go together like this. So we're sewing corner to corner, And this is where your straight stitch plate comes in handy, because this corner tends to get lost down in our sewing machine bed. Did not mean to cut my foot down.
No, Virginia, she's doing a block of the week, basically, for a quilt, and they're 10-inch squares. 16-inch squares on the quilt.
And we are using the AccuQuilt 8-inch cube to cut them out.
And you can download them off the website.
Mm-hmm. All of the patterns on the Quilters HQ website. There is a link up at the top of the page. You can go and download all of them. Free patterns. Who doesn't love free patterns? Last one.
Quiet.
It is a quiet machine. I'm flooring it, so I don't know what the stitches per minute are, but I would say adequate for most people. And let's just press these. So I want to think about this for a second. So when we're pressing these, so you want to have two with your seams pressed towards the light blue, and we need to find those and line them up. So I'm looking at this seam that I pressed this way, so I'm going to press this one this way as well. And so this one is one of the opposite, where I press towards the light, and I'm going to press this one this way as well too. So all of our seams in the middle and on the side should be going in the same direction, and so when we piece this together, nope, just the opposite. So that's the right way. This one needs to go just the opposite way.
We'll post a link for the sew along in there, Virginia.
So line these up on your ironing board and make sure your seams are going the right way. Nope, I had it right the first time. I'm going to use it over here. Okay. So this one is going this way, so this one can go here, and then this seam is going to go down. How many of you use steam when you press your blocks?
All right, so it's a poll. Steam or no steam?
And
that is the
last
question.
One. I have been, and I kind of like it.
We got some votes coming in. Smashing up the like button here.
Okay, so
got
there's
dry steams. We got, oh boy.
Is it a house divided?
It's yeah.
All right, so this is where I always get messed up when I'm going from the ironing board to the sewing machine. I end up sewing the wrong seams. I'm gonna keep these in order. Keep me so right there, and I'm just gonna make sure all my seams are lined up here, and then we're gonna piece this together.
Oh, we hope so too, Donna.
Helps if I don't hold the fabric down. Alright, I'm going to slow myself down because I keep pulling on my fabric.
Yeah, Mrs. Cranford said you just have to be careful not to stretch your block.
Yeah, that is one you don't want to stretch. Well, not so much now because it's in when you're sewing in this on this bias is when you want to be sure and not stretch your block. Now I don't remember. I messed myself up. It's this side. I tried to be good and tried to remember, but I didn't. So better to check. Because this is the point where I always mess myself up. It's like going between the ironing board and the sewing machine. Every time.
No, Donna, we just have 2 stores in Kansas City and Overland Park and one in Springfield, Missouri.
Since this is on the straight grain, I'm going to use the doohickey.
There you go, Donna.
And press the seam. I'm going to go the other way. Press this seam.
Bleeding. How yucky.
Yuck. Here in Kansas City?
She said no later. No, I told her.
That's okay. We have all-wheel drive. We know how to get around. Been here a while. Many snowstorms. Okay, let's just make
pretty
sure.
divided on the steam, no steam, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm. I think I stretched my block earlier.
Oh, no.
I know, right? That's okay.
Everybody should have the doohickey. That's right.
That's right. Everybody should have the doohickey. So I did stretch my block a little bit when I was sewing, so I'm off like about 1/4 of an inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over, nest those seams right there, and then use the sewing machine to work this fullness into the block. So you start out with your few stitches. If I can get it lined up. There we go. Put that under the machine.
We will, Mrs. Cranford.
Oops, I broke my thread. And
Hi, Kitty. How are you tonight?
Okay. Did I mention this has a needle threader? And you can open that up when you lose your thread.
Where'd it go?
Always thread. I broke it off with the needle threader.
Mm.
Always thread your machine with the presser foot up. I can hear it. And there we go. Let's try this again. Line up my seam. And then I'm just going to give a gentle tug on this top piece as I'm letting the feed dogs pull that through. And it works every time. I don't end up with puckers, but all of that extra, especially working on the bias. So see, let's give it a quick press. And we can move on to show and tell.
Show and tell.
And I am going to use some steam on that because it's not laying quite as flat as I'd like. And that's why I like steam. And there's the segment of this block. And we're only going to do one because we're short on time. And we've got a lot of other stuff to talk about and show you. So this is a rescue. This quilt is for sale, by the way. It's $4.99 $499. It is king size. It does have a spot. I have tried every kind of spot remover to get it out. It's not coming out. It's in there permanent. This is all hand cross stitch. So, and beautifully done. I love the colors. And so this is one of those probably Bucella quilt kits, or there was a couple of them out there. So I found this at a flea market or, I don't know, antique store somewhere. And I thought, you know, I can't let, and I do this. If I find an unfinished quilt top, I will buy it and I will finish it. So that's what this is. Somebody had done all this beautiful hand stitching. It was already pieced together. All it needed to be was quilted. And so I did this kind of, you know, real, it's not too densely quilting, but it's certainly custom quilted, and I did not quilt over the cross stitch because I didn't want to interfere with it. So, but it's probably king size. It's a big quilt. It is square, so it doesn't matter how you put it on your bed. It's going to be the right way. That's a big key plus. I make all of my quilts square so that you just throw it on the bed and, you know, it's always facing the right way. But it's got a lot of heavy kind of stippling, and then some designs that I thought were kind of in that Art Nouveau kind of style.
I want to see some close-ups of all the stitching.
Yeah.
So I can spin that around a little bit.
Well, thank you. I know, doesn't it? It kind of makes my heart ache a little bit, because you never know, you know, how these quilts become orphaned. You know, because this is hours and hours of work, not just, you know, the quilter or the person that did the cross stitch, mine too. So, you know, I wanted to do some quilting that would be worthy of this quilt and the maker, and then, you know, so that's what I came up with. Kind of complements the design. But it's a beautiful quilt, and it's just kind of hanging out here looking for its forever home. I have more than enough quilts. I don't need any more. And this one is kind of too big for my home. It does have, you know, a permanent stain. It's not coming out. I've tried spot remover. I've tried Dawn, Dove, you name it. I've tried it, all of the tricks. So it's there to stay, but it's not bad. And it doesn't really detract from the beauty of this quilt. So if you want to make this for your, you know, have this as your forever quilt, comment, make it mine. I don't know, what would we call this? Art Nouveau quilt.